Hello, my name is Crowley with No Lift Install System. In this video, we're going to show you how to use your new power tilt model for the first time. Now I want to point out that in this video, we're going to demonstrate the full capabilities of the power tilt using a full-size counter, a 55 by 125 inch island. But we recommend that as you begin to use your power tilt, that you start small. Maybe a 3 foot by 6 foot island, maybe an average size sink countertop. It may even make sense to play with this in your shop before you actually load and install and take it to the job site. Now it may seem obvious, maybe intuitive in terms of how the power tilt model will work, but I urge you to watch this entire video so that you understand exactly how to safely use your new power tilt. So to begin, on a countertop that's 42 inches or taller, we want to make sure that our retractable tilt supports are fully extended before we load the countertop. Next, we're going to want to make sure that our cart deck is in the lowest position. From there, we can go ahead and load our countertop onto the cart base, making sure that it is evenly centered over the cart base. So as soon as we get a big countertop like this onto the cart, we want to immediately set our shepherd hooks into these slots as wide apart from each other as possible. Once those are inserted into these sleeves, we want to raise our cart deck about 1/2 inch. Then we want to tighten this knob to secure the shepherd hook and the countertop. And the advantage to doing this is it allows us to use the actuator to then return the deck to the lower position, which puts tension on these shepherd hooks and significantly increases the security during transport into the work area. Now on an actual job site, you are most likely going to be loading your cart on the street, on the sidewalk, on a driveway, maybe even in the garage. But no matter how you are loading your cart, the first step you want to take is locking the forward casters in the parallel position prior to loading and prior to bringing the countertop in to the work area. That allows you to steer the cart much like a forklift, with the forward wheels parallel, the back end swinging to maneuver into the work area. So once we're in the work area, we want to bring the countertop on the cart directly at the cabinet and then rotating it at the last minute so that our countertop and our cart is oriented with the tilt side of the cart facing the cabinet we're going to rotate the countertop onto, making sure that our cart base is at least 24 inches from the cabinet. Now, we've mentioned the outriggers, and I just want to emphasize that these are a critical safety component when rotating countertops that are 42 inches or taller into the horizontal position. Now, to begin, I want to make sure to point out that you need to lock all 4 casters in the parallel position. Once that's done, we simply slide the outrigger into the cart base until the stop runs into the base. From there, we put our leveler underneath the leveling sleeve and rotate this handle in the counterclockwise direction until it makes full contact, lifting the outrigger to the top of the cart base. Once it is tight, we want to turn this handle at least 1/2 to maybe a full turn so that it is adequately secured and evenly distributing the weight between the outrigger and both casters. So your power tilt comes with 2 manual suction cups, and before we rotate the counter into the horizontal position, we want to secure these at each end of the countertop because we want our hand on the surface of this counter, not underneath it, as we rotate it towards the cabinet. To lift and rotate this countertop onto the cabinet, we're going to begin by first loosening the handles on the shepherd hooks, and that releases the tension on the countertop and also allows us to lower our cart deck to the lowest position so that our lifter feet can slide underneath the countertop and lift it to cabinet height. Next, we want to measure the height of the cabinet we're going to rotate this countertop onto. In this case, it's 34.5 inches. From there, both operators need to have a hand on the suction cup, and then we're going to use the remote control to lift the counter to cabinet height using the height gauge on the side of the cart. So before we rotate this countertop onto the cabinet, we want to remove the shepherd hooks. And I want to point out that once we remove these shepherd hooks, there is nothing holding this countertop on the cart. So the operators must keep a handle on it at all times. We are now ready to rotate this 55-inch by 125-inch countertop onto the cabinet. And I want to emphasize, you must always have 2 operators with hands on the suction cup on the surface of the counter before we begin rotation. So we're ready. So we're going to hit the rotate down button, and once we begin, we're going to continue until it is horizontal. We want to continue pushing the rotate down button until it stops to make sure that our cart base is truly horizontal before we begin sliding this countertop onto the cabinet. So once you've got your countertop horizontal and in contact with the cabinet, you may find that because the stone has fiberglass on the back or a really rough back to it, it's really difficult because of the friction to slide it onto the cabinet. The advantage to the remote control and the power tilt is that you can just lift that actuator slightly, which engages the transfer balls on the surface of the cart deck, which transfers a lot of that friction onto the cart, which makes it a lot easier to slide that countertop onto the cabinet. Well, thank you for investing in your business and in your installation crew with your new power tilt model. If you've got further questions, please reach out to us at noliftsystem.com.